Karthik, probably this is, maybe the first time, me and you are on the call. So really excited on how the team is right now working and can't wait for how we all can unfold Objective Earth into a beautiful project that, people around us adore. So yeah, good job that we are
Yeah, yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah. Same for me. Same for me.
Awesome. Okay. All right. And, Objective Earth and beyond, a lot of other things to do in addition to Objective Earth. So, would love to explore what we can get done together at our team Smarter Codes. Okay. All right. You're on mute, Karthik. So we can suggest the agendas. How should we structure our call? I think maybe you guys already have a structure because you guys have been trying to have this call since I think a day or two or maybe a few more days. So
Yeah.
how should we structure our call?
Hmm.
One suggestion of an agenda that I wanted to run were the content curation guidelines I tried to post inside GitHub today. So we can talk
Yeah.
about them. But yeah, let's first learn how do you suggest we should structure the call? Karthik or Rishi?
Okay, so I think we can once let you know how we are working, so and how they are updating things right now,
Uh-huh.
and what is the update yesterday, what they are working on. So we can take a quick update, and then I guess you were saying that we are not in like aligned with the guidelines. So I think that will like help
Because
to.
guidelines were not written. I mean, that's why we were not aligned. And
Okay.
so guidelines maybe were verbally being communicated. So I thought of writing them down. So what
Okay.
happens in smarter codes, what happens is that, we have some 15150 guidelines written for software engineering team. And
Okay.
then they stand some chance to meet some guidelines. When you write all these guidelines, then we stand some chance. Not all the guidelines are met always, but at least we stand a chance. So maybe writing guidelines today could probably help. So it would be interesting to watch. And we are eager to understand what the guidelines should be. I mean, these are just three guidelines that I wanted to make a recommendation of. So yeah.
Okay.
So yes, Roshi, we can maybe get started where you or Karthik or hi Dheeraj, you three probably share how right now the content has been done. By the way, I did took a look upon the 17 SDGs that were maintained on Notion. If that's mainly you wanted to run through, I think uh,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm up to
Yeah.
date with
That was
that.
it.
That was it. Okay,
Okay.
perfect, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good progress over there. Hey Pratyush, how you doing?
Hi Tushar. Hi Urvashi. Hi Karthik. Hi Dheeraj.
Hi, hi.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, and by the way, gentlemen, I would love if we all can have some FaceTime, and then we can, in gradually other calls, we can probably, if it is okay, right? Or we can arrange for a FaceTime some other time. Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, sorry, I cannot. No, I don't think I can do that because some renovation work is going on. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's fine. That's fine. We can wait for the renovation to complete. So we can do that after that.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. And so should I share the screen and we hop on directly upon the three guidelines I have put together?
Sure.
Should we probably start with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, sure, sure.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Let me just close some stuff from my screen so that it's not overwhelming. Almost there. Uh, hmm. Okie dokie. Here we go. Screen share. Screen share started. All right. So I just put together a small repo over here. We are expecting everybody in the community, I mean, right now we are part of the community, and our job is to make it easy for community, outside the closely knit Objective-Earth team, the community which is outside the Objective-Earth team, to become part of the community and to contribute. Now, there are lots of other organizations who have been able to successfully not just recruit community, but especially have them contribute with guidelines. Wikipedia, for example, Stack Overflow, there are lots of them. So I would love if all of us over here can press the edit button over here, and any guidelines that inspire you, you probably list them out over here. What we would do, and what should be the candidates for inspiration? I think all those things should be the candidates which you want to actually borrow from them. For example, in Wikipedia, they say that I could, yeah, Wikipedia's manual of style is the parent category of Wikipedia's words to watch. So they say, oh, consider not using any words which either mention great, best, because that would comprise as puffery, or which is a form of peacock example, right? So they say, oh, go with facts. Don't use superlatives like great, good, best, right? And I think we are already not using them. But this link is an example which I think, would you want to draw inspiration? Would you want to also say the same thing to the Objective-Earth community as well? I mean, let's suppose somebody says that I'm creating an objective and the goal is that we should have best education for everyone. There are some OKRs for education, right? So let me just open here. For example, if we go quality education and they say key objectives, and then, okay, 4.1, equitable and quality primary education, secondary education leading to the relevant and effective learning outcomes. Okay, indicators. Let's see. This either ways. I mean, the words over here which are relevant and effective. If we were to post these words relevant and effective in Wikipedia, now Wikipedia is not an OKR tool. We are building a social OKR. While I agree to that, but if let's suppose these words are put inside Wikipedia, then your posting would be highlighted and it would be flagged by people, and a flag would appear just like this, and people will start to talk about your contribution, and they would gradually educate you that, oh, don't use words like effective because it can mean a lot of things. Yeah. So 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 maybe it is safe to say that there are some guidelines. I have not really cherry picked which guidelines, but I think there are lots of guidelines that we can browse from the Wikipedia's manual, and we can cherry pick some guidelines. We all can. And I strongly recommend that we all start to scout for guidelines or manuals in the community projects that you adore. Maybe you adore Wikipedia, maybe you adore Stack Overflow, maybe you are into a Reddit, maybe you are into Quora. And if they have a manual, if they have a style guide, if they have a contribution guidelines, please just list them over here. And whenever you list anything over here, you are asking the other colleagues in the content curation team that read it and copy something from here and actually create an issue about it. Create a new issue about it. Copy something from here, create an issue about it. So anything which goes in here, it should be safe for us to copy something from here and create an issue about it. And that issue, so basically what we are suggesting is whatever guideline we think or whatever best practice we think we should follow as community, we should not just practice ourselves, but we should any contributor or community member who comes in, we should even expect them to also then follow the guideline. So we would all the guidelines, for every guideline we will go and create an issue. So yeah, basically, um, take a look upon some guidelines over here and remove those guidelines which you think, I mean, we have written, but we are not able to borrow anything for a long time. If let's suppose you will list something, but we are not able to borrow something from here, just go and remove it and continue to add more inspirations which you think we are drawing inspiration from. So
Okay, so not just for content, right? For anything, like you said, for
yes,
like any community member, like the community that we are
yeah,
in and creating. Okay.
right. Actually, that is a great idea. I mean, right now the title of this repo is
Is
guidelines for content, but maybe we need guidelines not just
correct.
for content, but we need guidelines on maybe when to, maybe, I don't know if there is any such thing like blacklisting in Wikipedia, when to blacklist a person. I'm sure they have a manual for that. They have a manual that, okay, when to suspend someone's account or block someone's account or
Hmm.
lock a page. You see, it's locked. I mean, I can't just go in and change it, and it's not protected. It's like semi-protected, which may mean a lot of things. So yeah, so they have guidelines for dealing with content. Maybe what I learned from you, Urvashi, is that we should also probably start to put guidelines for dealing with people, and they
Yeah,
have some
that
guidelines
is
for dealing with people as well. So yeah,
yeah.
okay. So let's start with the guidelines for content, and then gradually, or maybe very soon, we should have guidelines for people as well and things like that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's why we are putting the content guidelines. Now I was trying to observe the contributions we have here, and contributions we have here, and based on these contributions, I think I found some three issues which were being repeated in the content we have curated. So I can maybe walk you through issue number 1, 2, and 3. So
Okay.
are we
Hmm.
good so far? Should we move to the issues? Do we want to discuss something about this content guidelines a little more before we head on to issues?
I'm
I
good.
think the guidelines are, yeah, I think the guidelines are clear now. Uh,
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
should move on to the issues now.
Okay.
hmm.
All right. Okay. So here we go. Issue number 1. And guys, help me word these issues, these guidelines better. I could be doing a very bad job in uh, setting, because this looks mouthful to me. It's huge. So come up with a title, come up with a description. I don't know if you have editing rights over here. If you don't have, let me know. But basically make these guidelines easy to follow. A guideline could be complied by other community members as well if it is easy to follow. Maybe if we have examples, so feel free to add examples over here. Make this guideline look really, really rich. Yes. Okay. So I will now, I mean, maybe I'm not explaining in the best possible way. I'm not explaining the guideline and I have not worded these guidelines in the best possible way right now. But let me try to explain what I want, how I wanted this to be interpreted. Okay. Here we go. Uh, right. So when I look upon SDG 01 to SDG 17, all of them, one problem I run into is that I find that the contribution that we just saw over here, we just got hundreds of indicators or objectives, right? So if I go to poverty, we get if I open solutions, there are none. And if I go to objective key results, I get a few, right? Um, so my opinion is that if we actually just, what I'm here trying to say is that maybe we just got uh, when I open key objective areas, when I open, I think I just got objectives over here, or maybe problems over here, but not no solutions, no mention of regions, no mention of causes, no mention of community, maybe. So we might actually end up going depth first, which means that let's suppose if I mean, should we just go and finish all the problems first and not care about any solutions at all? Or should we just write one problem, one solution, one community member which is working, which is applying a solution on that problem, and that problem, which region is that problem trying to talk about, and which cause is that problem trying to talk about? So we just contribute. I mean, what I'm here trying to suggest is maybe we should not go depth first. What I mean by depth first is, oh, let's just go and complete all possible problems that exist on planet Earth first. That, in my opinion, could be a losing game, especially for product design. When we are trying, when we are doing a product design, when the product design process is in progress, I think if we do depth first, it would be a losing game. If we do breadth first, what I mean by breadth first is that let's not probably um, let's not probably I mean uh, let me give an example over here. If I click on an objective, the objective here is fix water in India, then we have mention of one problem and one solution over here. And if I click on solution, I have mention of who are the people, the community members who are doing it. Remember, we had but here we do not have mention of community members. We do not have mention of solutions. We do not have mention of regions. We may argue that we have mention of causes, which I would disagree in the next guideline. So what here I'm trying to suggest is that these are these are the necessary accompanying parts, and we must not accept any objective without these necessary accompanying parts. It's okay if the number of objectives are less. We do not need maybe 100 objectives right now. I mean, we would have community members to go and do that and be very exhaustive doing that. The purpose of going one objective, and it should come with a problem text. What I mean by a problem text is give me just a sec. What I mean by a problem text is that whenever we say, let's suppose we have this one objective, fix climate on Earth, or I mean, right now in this example, we have proportion of population below international poverty line by sex, age, employment status, and geographical. Blah, blah, blah. I just, by the way, got lost reading it out. So, which also takes me to the guideline number 2, which I would soon come upon. So basically what I say is, if we are trying to suggest an objective, we should not, we should always accompany it with other necessary parts, such as problem text. This is problem text. We should come up with a problem measurement. We are trying to measure the problem over here. Here, this is a measurement, and this is a measurement. So problem measurement, if we don't provide problem measurement, then we should actually not bother about adding one more OKR. Yeah, the first OKR first needs problem text. The first OKR still needs problem measurement. Let's not, overwhelm us with OKR number 2. Yeah, let's go easy. Let's actually complete OKR number 1 really fully and provide it with all the accompanying parts. Third thing that we probably need in third thing that we need for every OKR is a separate problem text measurement number for each measurement we propose inside objective. I think I'm not very clear over here. Let me explain. What I mean is, Right now on this screenshot, how many measurements are we seeing? Because this is selected and this is not selected right now. Only the first option is selected right now, due to which we are seeing this measurement and this problem text. As soon as I change from this to this, the second one, the problem text and the measurements would change. Do you agree that problem text and the measurements would change? Okay, now,
Okay.
so what I suggest is, if to 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 measure if an objective has been met or not, if we are using two different measurements, measurement number 1 and measurement number 2, then okay, we just supplied problem text for measurement number 1 and measurement number one's numbers. But if we feel like providing one more way to measure it, let's actually go and provide another form of measurement as well. Yeah, when we say another measurement, which means the measurement number 2, let's suppose measurement number 1 says measured by carbon dioxide emitted per year, but the measurement 2 is parts per million. So the parts per million should come with a different problem text. It should come with a separate problem text. It should come with separate numbers, right? Okay. Then we should, okay, then, okay, we have a problem. We have one problem text. We have one problem measurement, and maybe we have now an array of problem text and measurements. Point number 3. And then finally, let's provide an array of solutions. So let's provide solution 1, at least solution 1 for OKR. Let's not just move to OKR number 2 without first contributing more solutions. So solution 1 and maybe even solution 2. I do not have screens in my mind. I do not have information architecture, I would say, on what would go if I click this solution. I don't know what would go. So if we are actually contributing a solution, what are the other things that we must fail? Then we must have an issue for this, that submit complete solution. Like you submit a complete objective, you should submit a complete solution. There should be a guideline just about how to submit a complete solution. Yeah. And we are strongly counting upon the content curation team and the product design team that they lead the way. They tell us that when you click this solution, here are the things that you need to show, which the people will find easy to understand. Okay, so the solutions, and talk about the people who are applying the solutions, or talk about the people who helped highlight the problems. Agree to a solution, disagree to a solution. Show people, I mean, you can today find people on LinkedIn or on their blogs agreeing to a problem or disagreeing to a problem, or agreeing to a solution or disagreeing to a solution. And this, in my opinion, is very important. Just like Wikipedia, I mean, when you click over here, when you click on source, you share citations on where you got this number, where you got this number, where you got this text. Why do you think that Earth would actually be inhabitable by 2050? There should be citation for everything. Even if you are, let's suppose, so for example, over here, the sounds that we have borrowed it from somewhere. This goal of, I mean, right now it is 1.25 a day. So there should be a source of this information. Let's cite that source. Yeah. So until this is not provided, I don't think we should move to OKR number 2. So that is a suggestion in this guideline. I will take a pause, and uh, I wanted to learn from you guys. What do you think about this guideline?
Yeah, I think I should maybe talk about that one because we had a plan number A before, in which we were trying to cover all the rows from the sheet that we were provided with by Ricky. And
Mhm.
then we were finished by, I think I finished around 100 rows from that. I mean, until row 90s. I'm in somewhere in the row 90s. So in
Mhm.
that, what we were doing was that for every individual OKR, we were going to provide it with its own solution. But
Right.
now we have shifted to a plan B, that was in which we would like list down all the OKRs, which actually is copy pasted from the UN website itself. So the OKR number, like the 8.1, 8.2, and all of those, and except like apart from that, like every single one of those OKRs that has been taken from the UN official website, and the solutions that we are finding, that is the different organizations who are working towards that OKR. So I think what we like right now, what we have to do is that we have to shift back to plan A. That is, we have to address every single OKR and then find a unique solution to like the specific OKR instead of addressing the SDG as a whole. So
Yes.
yeah, and I actually wanted to share my screen to show you a couple of things that we have done. That actually, me and Karthik, we had a call last night and we discussed about the format
Mhm.
of how this will work and how this can be even implemented in the UI of Objective-Earth. So can I share
Okay.
my screen now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so is my screen visible?
No, not yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not for
Now.
me.
No, yeah. Now I can see.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So this is the main page, right, of the rows. So earlier what we were doing was this, that we were finishing off with the rows that was there in the sheet. And then what I did was that I did an experiment with these different SDGs, in which I first searched for the SDGs itself, because in the rows, if you see that SDG number 4 and 5 were being covered the most. So it was only goal number 4 and goal number 5 which were being covered. So what I
Okay.
did was that I thought that maybe I should cover goals like 7 or maybe 11, 10, because these goals have not been covered in the sheet. So I
Right.
created separate pages for SDGs, in
Mhm.
which so over here these solutions represent only these OKRs, and the OKRs that I have written over here, these have been, so this is OKR number 7, right? So I will open this one. And if you look at it, then OKR number 7.1, and all, so these are the targets which are there on their website, and these are the indicators which are there on the website. So what all we did was that simply copy pasted from there. So
Mhm.
maybe what if I'm hearing you correct, what you're trying to say is that maybe we should read the OKR, understand what the problem is, and then write that problem in our own words in a simple language so that everyone can understand. Am I right?
Yes, that would be guideline number 2, which says plain language.
Right, right.
So
So
very often these state agencies, like including United Nations and any typical government, they are often using jargons and stuff, and they admit to it. That's why lots of governments, they even mandate it to the state agencies that, oh, when you are addressing to people, talk in their language. Maybe even go and use lingo. It should be something that they understand.
right, right, understood. So instead of, see, over here, the 7.1 target, it is by 2030, this is this. That is exactly what we have written down over here, by 2030. And then these
Right.
are the two indicators that we found over here.
Right.
So I think that was the reason why we did not use the link. But yeah, you're right. Maybe we should like re-edit like all of these OKRs. We have to go through every single one of them. And I have actually been through like all of these. I read all of this. So like now we understand, after working for like the last few days, we now understand, okay, कि क्या बोल रहा है, and then how can we change it into our own words. So
Right.
Hmm,
anyway,
hmm, hmm.
going to the 17 goals, what I thought like it would be like a good format. So I've already completed the SDG 17, 15, and 13, and I'm almost done with 11 now. So I'll just show you like for an example. So I've listed down all the objective key results over here, but this will be changing now, because after taking your suggestion, I will be rewriting every single one of these OKRs into like a simple language. and then I will be mentioning the solution to each OKR right after this one, right? So in that way,
Okay.
it won't be like that OKRs are like on a different page and solutions are on a different page, right? So it will be
Right.
like problem and solution, problem and then usi ka solution. It won't be like different.
Right.
But if you
Right.
go to solutions, right, for SDG 17, which is like the least used SDG, which I was able to find.
Right.
So over here, I've listed on just 5 of these organizations which are working towards the SDG.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the current format that we are following, in which in one line I will first write what the solution is, like
Okay.
trying to explain it in a really simple language, because the solutions are like very long. If you go on the website and you search for the solutions, very long. So
Right.
first thing that I thought would be good was that if we write down the solution in like just 1 or 2 lines,
Right.
then
Right.
I provide the link from where did I get that. So if you click on this one.
Yeah, this is good. Source, solution, right in against objective. This looks good. Source as well mentioned. Okay, this looks good.
Okay, so it will redirect you to the website where you can look for like the link from where I got this.
Okay.
Then I've also added like an additional info. I'm not sure. I've only added this once, like only on one page, only on this page.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this will be required, but I thought maybe I could like, just ask you if what are your
Right.
thoughts on this?
We actively want the content curation team to highlight it to the product design team, and I mean maybe we want to blur the lines between product design and content curation. So when you mention email, phone number, if you think that where it should be, try to make a recommendation. Maybe it would be great if you actually have access to the screens that Dheeraj and Urvashi are designing on every day-to-day basis. Where it would be great if 1 hour of your entire day, Pratyush, Karthik, you are actually just seeing the progress made in the screens by Dheeraj and by Urvashi, and when you are actually scouting for content, curating content from the World Wide Web, you can probably, we would love if during that 1 hour you see the work in progress screens and you make a recommendation that, oh, this is one important field that I think we should mention. So for example, you mentioned headquarter. You can make a recommendation that, oh, headquarter should go in this screen. And so, yeah, we want you to, send these suggestions to Dheeraj and to Urvashi. What do you think about that, Dheeraj, Urvashi?
Yeah, great idea. We've already spoken about how the content team's input is invaluable when we are going and designing the screens, and then there should be a feedback among both teams. We already discussed this, and looking forward to put that into practice. So we shall invite you guys to the Figma file. You can take a look at all of the stuff. If you want, we could give you a detailed KT about all the user stories and such, the foundational research that we've done so far as well. So anything that works to further this in this direction.
Awesome. Looks good. Looks good. Perfect. Yes, Pratish, please resume.
Right. So in the solution, so I'm writing it like this. So first the name of the task. So the in this case it is supporting the SDGs, and by which organization is it being done? So it is Pax Tech जो भी नाम. And plus,
Right.
if you click on this one, it will redirect you to its website. So,
Question.
right.
Supporting the SDGs. Okay. By Pax Techcom. Okay. If you go to the mockup, I'm sure that we have now better mockups in Figma by Dheeraj and Urvashi. But if you still refer to the, that, homepage mockup that, I have been trying to run around, when you say Pax Techcom, maybe it comes under contributors.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a contributor, but we do not know what is, how would you name the solution? Are you suggesting that the name of the solution is supporting the SDG? Normally we tend to create list a name of a project or name of a campaign over there in
Right. So
solution.
I actually found this one. See, exactly what I'm doing is that, for example, if I want to find this one again, so I found this website, which is of the UN itself. Over
Okay.
here, if you go on this web page, you have got filters on the left side, in which
Okay.
you can select for which exact SDG do you want the solutions to be, and the solutions are listed right over here. So all of
Interesting.
these are organizations which are working towards these SDGs.
Okay.
Right. So there are currently 5,489 of these.
Okay.
So let's say that if I want to find solutions for goal number 17, so I'll just click on this filter,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a while to load in this website. This is a very heavy one. Right. So now there are 1,302 organizations which are
Mm-hmm.
particularly working towards goal 17. Now, out of this, if we look at we can also check the status. Like, are they completed? Are they on track, off track, and all this? So if I click on completed, then I will have all the organizations which have already like all the work which has been already done. So this is
Okay.
where I think I should find that one. This one.
Mm-hmm.
This is fostering partnership between government and all right. This is where I found this one. So the name of the project supporting the SDGs, it was written on the on this web page itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where I,
Okay. So from here you copied the name of the project and name of the campaign, which would come under solutions.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. It is this one. It is SDG Action 33618. So the UN has got so it has got like a specific number for every single one of the projects. So
Mm-hmm.
the title which what I was
Solutions
looking
are
for,
essentially actions, right?
right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that this website is really good, like especially this over here on this page, because I can like filter the goals and I can just get all the solutions ready made.
Mm-hmm.
And all I
Mm-hmm.
have to do is just go through this and I have to read this, right? So if you just read everything, everything that you have on there on this page, then you will understand. Okay, so the solution is what, how are they working, and plus you've got like all the information right here. You've got the name of the company which is working towards this, the partners which are there. If sometimes there are like multiple partners over here, then where in what region are they working? This one is global, and plus you also get the headquarters right over here.
Right.
So in this way, we can cover all the SDGs, but the only thing is that we won't be able to identify the exact OKRs. So if we are changing
Mm.
the format now, so for that, what I'll have to do, I'll just remake this entire thing, and I will have a call with Karthik first, and we will discuss, okay, how can we link? So what we can do is that we can just go through every single one of these solutions, and we can then check, and then we can go over here on this page, and I'll open this one, and I will see, okay, so what OKR is this one fulfilling? Is this particular action fulfilling?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I can map that to the specific OKRs as well. It will take some time, but it can be done.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So, yeah. So adding on to Pratyush, first of all, thank you so much, Pratyush, because you explained it precisely, and yesterday we had a hard time wrapping around it. So this backlinking process is the only thing which you are facing trouble with. For example, in the previous method, as Pratyush said, we collected the information from the Excel sheet. We had the organization name, so we saw what activity the organization is doing. So it was easy for us to map various goals. As Tusharji said, a particular organization or activity can map up to various goals, right? But in this case, while we are using the second platform, we can only map a particular goal. For example, if sustainable development goal 17. So under that there is only one organization. So mapping that particular organization to different SDG is difficult. So I just wanted to ask what to do in this kind of flow.
Mapping to what is difficult?
I mean, it's
Mhm.
not like that particular organization is working only for goal number 17.
Oh, mhm.
It is also working for goal number 4, 3,
Oh,
6.
right. I think, yeah, we would be able to solve that by following guideline number 3. So I would just hop on to guideline number
Yeah,
3
yeah,
and
sure,
run that.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, I again, like the progress that we are making, especially because it seems that guideline number 1, what it was basically saying is that we need to be very complete, and it seems that we are working toward going complete. I wanted to actually re-emphasize what I really mean by the definition of complete. So over here, maybe Pratyush, what I learned from you is that I saw a mention of source. I saw a mention of solutions. I, however, could not see mention of problem text or problem measurement.
Right, right.
I
Uh,
could see mention of community.
Yeah, I'm not really sure actually. So, like, the problem measurement, what do you mean by that exactly?
Uh, so if I go to no poverty, OKR, let's suppose 1.1, they say that we want to eradicate extreme poverty from all. Okay, so they say that's a measurement. They say that how much amount of people do we want to lift above the poverty line? They say 100% of them. Yeah.
Hmm.
100% is a measurement. Yes. Are they targeting 90%? No, they are targeting 100% by when? 2030. That is a measurement. If I open the screenshot over here, let's suppose I have to write that fix poverty on earth measured by a per day income, which was $1.25. Yes.
Hmm.
And in 2030, the target is 100% are above the, is it 90%? No, it's 100%. 100% above, this number should read 100%. This number should read 2030. All right. What should this number read? That has not yet been answered in our over here. That yet has not been answered, basically. Pratyush.
Right, right, got it. I
Okay.
may need to go through the data model again, and I'm thinking that the new format that we will create would be based on that data model itself. That would
Hmm.
be much more orderly.
Perfect.
Yeah, we have to quantify it, right?
Perfect. Also, when we are actually insisting you to comply with the data model, at the same time, we are insisting you to be creative and tell us the problems which are in our data model. Maybe you want to make a recommendation that, you know, coming up with measurement numbers this and this and problem text like this, you may want to make an argument that this is a losing game. It's a bad idea to have this into the data model. We are asking, and that we should not ask it from the community members. I mean, the thing is, you have to imagine yourself from the shoes of, put yourself in the shoes of community members. We don't want to ask them too less, because then we won't be a social OKR tool at all. We don't want to ask them too more, because that would add contribution fatigue. Do you agree to this,
Hmm.
Pratyush? Karthik?
Right, right. Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
understood. Makes sense.
So we want you to tell us that whatever we are asking, we should not ask it because this is too. So we want to enter into all such interesting arguments that these things are unnecessary, we should not ask. These things are super unnecessary, we should ask them. And maybe you want to also suggest that, oh, these things should be mandatory, and the other things should be optional. Maybe you want to ask for certain things in certain causes. I don't know. So yeah, tell us, what do you want in the data model? Karthik, Pratyush. Yeah.
Right. So in the data model, what we can add is like obviously we'll have to add like some statistics which shows like through numbers that
Hmm.
how severe the problem really is. Like I think
Right.
I made like one of the organization which was about child trafficking,
Mm,
in which I think I entered like some statistics and we had a talk. I think like I talked with Dheeraj at that time and he really liked that one. So
mhm.
I'm thinking like you want me to add numbers which show how severe a problem is, and then also like numbers which show okay at what time will the project will be completed, when will it start, and it will like really define like what is actually going on.
Right.
It's two-part really. You also need to mention the sources. So every metric that when we discuss metrics. Every
Hmm.
metric that you mentioned should be having a source.
Yes. It should definitely have a source. Even our goals should especially have a source, because, for example, in climate change arguments which are happening worldwide, there are people who would say that 0 tons by 2027 is a thing. but majority of the people are saying that 0 tons by 2050 is a thing. They say that 2027, I mean, they say 2027, two things. First, it would be very pressing on the economy of all countries. So let's not do that. Second, they don't have the tech to do it. But then there are people who say we have tech or no. If we don't achieve 0 tons by 2027, we are not going to sustain, we are not, if we won't be inhabitable by 2050. So what you do by 2027 will decide your fate in 2050. You won't get time till 2050 to, I mean, the thing is they say that the domino effect or the butterfly effect would start from 2025. Sorry, 2027. That's what some of the people say. So when you say that, oh, today we are at this percentage, tomorrow we want to be at this number, source, like Dheeraj mentioned, we need source of this, we need source of all of them, we need source of this, we need source of this, we need source of this, we need source of all of them, all these three numbers. Pratyush, Karthik.
Okay, got it, got
Yeah,
it.
right, got it, got it.
But again, tell us if you think that there is a third number that should go in. Tell us if there should be a third number. Sometimes I think that we should not always do 2021 and then we meet again, we revisit again no sooner than 2027. I think good planning teams, what they do is, let's suppose, you have to contain, let's suppose you have to conduct vaccinations for COVID, for example. They won't say that, oh, by the end of this year, we will do it this much. No, they would actually plan every quarter.
Right, right.
Yeah. So what I'm here trying to suggest is you suggest what the data model should be. It would be okay for the product design to ask for inputs to our users in an incremental way. We would not want to overwhelm our users that don't post anything until you have all of these things ready. We won't overwhelm them with this because that would add a lot of fatigue, right? Maybe when our actual users come in, we would be okay if somebody as a contributor, they just have to contribute this and then just disappear and then hope for another contributor to come in and maybe add the second part and maybe not even provide any citation, because that's how things work in Wikipedia. I mean, you can put up a number and without any citation, you can just, leave and the other people in the community can flag it. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right. Understood,
Right?
understood. So
Right.
the
So
numbers that we are getting, it should be like mostly from like a scientific website or from
yeah,
like
yeah,
some website which is a research group who have actually done the experiment themselves and found those numbers instead of some source who have literally just copy pasted from some other source. Then at that time we would be the secondary source of information.
yes, yes. And Wikipedia says it completely in their article as well, in their manual as well. Wikipedia says that we are not a place for research. We just cite other researchers. We won't find the facts. We would check the facts, basically. So we would give citations. So I agree with you there, Pratyush. Yes, we want to link all the sources, credible or not. When I say credible or not, yeah, you mentioned credible. I also want to mention credible, but what you and me and 100 scientists say is credible, another bunch of scientists or industry insiders may say that it is not they may say that it's not credible. It's pseudoscience. So that's why we have this agree list going on as well. So what you may notice is that my example, when I try to do when I had to show my data model in the Notion, let me show that right now. I tried to put together problem text. I tried to put all of them over there. So let me show that right now.
As Tushar is doing that, I'd like to add, when it comes to adding in facts, Tushar, if you can just keep the screen, the illustrated mockup back on. Right. So there are two types. All right. There are one which can be part of the problem. There you see Earth may become uninhabitable by 2050. Now that's a fact or a metric that increases or puts a better picture of the problem. We have a second sort of metric, 51 billion tons to 0 tons. And we have a date for that. And that's like a goal type metric that would go into our OKR. So there are two types of metrics here. You would have to be on the lookout for both of these to, enrich a particular objective or a problem. And yeah, essentially that. So this has spawned like two types of metrics, and maybe we should record that in the data model.
Right, true. I agree, Dheeraj. Okay, so I would now quickly talk about this thing. I think we know what the problem text now is. It's over here. We know what a problem measurement is. It's over here. The problem measurement is basically over here. Even this is also a problem measurement. I don't know. Basically, the problem measurement is. This is, in my opinion, what the problem measurement is, including the source. Sometimes I think that even this is also problem measurement, because what happened in the past is your historical trend. And if you know that who is doing it and what is causing it, you may want to say 51 billion tons, 10 tons comes from electricity and 10 tons comes from your agriculture, let's suppose. Yeah. So what causes it and who causes it? So maybe India is doing, another 10 billion tons and the rest of the world is doing the remaining. So who is doing it? Is it India? Is it Tushar? Is it Reliance? Is it agriculture? Right. So when you press source, all these things would unfold. Historical trend, who is doing it, even citations for this, right? So basically the cockpit would open. When you open source for information, I think then is when the cockpit would open. When I say cockpit, maybe I want to suggest that more sophisticated user interface would open. When I say sophisticated, I'm not referring that cockpit as of complex cockpit, because when I hear cockpit, I imagine 100 buttons and I don't know what to press. What I mean by cockpit is that somehow not a unfriendly interface like typical cockpits have, but maybe an interface which actually drives everything. Whatever you do in source is going to change everything over here. Guys, give me just a second. Yeah. Call that I need to attend. Please continue meanwhile.
So, any questions that you guys have so far?
Nothing. We have. I need to take some time to digest all these things, and then I
Right.
will call Pratyush and change our format first.
Right. Do you
And
see what changes that you guys need to make to
yeah, I'm noting it down.
encompass all of this? Right. Right. So better
Actually,
linking.
the changes are not going to be very major because the OKRs
Hmm.
are already listed. So
Right. We
Yeah.
have started
I
along the
also wanted to know,
process.
like, problems and solutions, they have to be like different pages, or can they be the same page? Like one page it will be problem and solution, and in that same page it will be like problem number one, solution number one, problem number two, solution number two, like that. Or do you want it like different pages?
See, we've already started. I feel like we've already started along the process of making it, the backlinking process that we have. I think we are on the right path. Only thing we need to ensure is that everything, is, the guideline number, guideline that Tushar has right now, the content guideline, complete objective. So that would mean that all of the different problems go into their own page, all of the different solutions go into their own page. And when we formulate an objective, we are linking together everything on one single page. So for the objective page, fixing climate on Earth, we have a problem which is linked from another master problem page, solutions
Hmm.
which are linked from master solutions page, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like thought of the best idea which we can apply actually. Like like on the solution page itself, in the solution number one, we can link the OKR, right? So as soon
Yep,
as
yep.
you will look at the solution, that then उसी के नीचे you will have the option कि चल, what problem is it addressing this particular solution.
Yeah, that what I was saying. Yeah. We can backlink to the particular OKR.
Yeah, there will
Hmm.
be back
Yep.
link to the main OKR page. That would be good.
Okay. All right. So let me show how how when I was trying to put together a data model, when I had to do the data the content curation, how I was trying to do it. First of all, the only way to navigate inside the Objective Earth database was this. We had pages for every type of document. What I mean by document is that if we have 100 objectives, right now we have just two. If we have 100 objectives, we would say we have 100 objective documents. Yeah. If we have 10 people listed in our community, we would say we have 10 community documents. So that's what I mean by document is a page which could open. And it just talks about that. For example, if I open beds, then this is something that I copied from beds is being linked by if I click on one backlink, it's being linked by I think it's being linked by a solution. It's being linked by a solution. If you let me go and click over here, the solution is safe drinking water by beds is a solution. Right. Basically that. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, so let me go to all right. So I wanted to quickly show how AgriList works. If I talk about an objective could be fixed water in India, and it is linking, which actually takes us to the second issue, which is third, linked data. We'll talk about that in a moment. That always link to other documents. Water is a document here, right? Water is a document. India is a document. Inside, it's a region document. Water is a cause document. And to link them, we are using add the rate. I could type water, right? And link it to that cause, water cause. Yes, okay. So inside the objective, let's suppose people say India may have to import water by 2050. Do you think that that's a good problem text candidate? So that's our problem text, that we may have to import water by 2050. And then
it sounds like it's a very complex problem which has been put into a very simple sentence, because by 2050, so how, or it simply addresses the problem at hand, but not but it does not really talk about like why or like about any other details.
right. So that's there goes your problem text. Yeah. And it should be cited with some citations. I didn't provide citations. Oh, did I? No. Yeah, I didn't provide citations, so we have to provide citations. Then I say measurement. In 2018, the per capita water was fill-in data. I don't have the data. So this might even happen. You might also not have the data, but you at least know the metric that you want to measure. Yes. Then let's suppose you get the data, then you again have to provide the citation. There are some sources. If I read the fine print of these sources, maybe I would know what data to fill over here. Okay. All right. Because these sources may probably so a water starved India by 2050. This could be the citation behind this problem text. Yes. Okay. And by the way, don't really draw inspiration from the way I am giving citations. Maybe the best way to give citations is not keeping a separate headline like source. Maybe that's a bad way. The right way is to use footnotes, just like Wikipedia does. If you go to a typical Wikipedia page today, then you would see really nice citations. So what should I open? Let's suppose Elon Musk. Let's suppose I open Elon Musk of Wikipedia page of Elon Musk. If I open today, then it would show nice citations about everything. So rather than keeping a source section at the very bottom, it lets me have sources over here, number 2, right? Number 2, number. Right. Right. So all the yellows, I don't know if you are able to notice, but all the brackets have turned yellow now. This is selected and right. So that's how they're using citations. Should we also do citations like that or no? That's a question.
Yeah, I think we should, because on Notion we have that option to link in the text itself, so we can do citations like that.
Yeah, one is that we link. Yeah, we can do the linking. Yes. Another is that do they even have a footnote feature? Maybe no. We might even want to suggest that rather than using Notion for our entry, we might want to rather use Wikimedia, not Wikipedia, sorry, MediaWiki. So you may want to make a suggestion that, oh no, we need to start our entries in Wikimedia rather than Notion. So if you think that, we can go and do that because they already have lots of wiki-like features and citations and all of that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's now quickly jump on how agree list is being talked about. So I say, okay, this problem actually belongs to this objective. The problem text is over here. The measurements are over here. There could be multiple measurements because if one community thinks that the problem can be measured by per capita, the other organizations thinks that rather than per capita, they just need to see the total volume of water that the water bodies that we have in all of our water reserves. Maybe they have a different measurement. So two measurement headlines can come in that case, maybe. Sometimes I even think that even sometimes I even think that this should be under measurement. Right now this is outside measurement. Sometimes I think this should be under measurement. So that's a question for everybody, especially the people who are doing content curation, to help us to basically guide us in this data modeling, guide us in this information architecture. All right. Okay. The list of people who are contributing to either to contributing the source of the problem definition. Let me go back. So that was problem defined really well. I think this problem and measurement were combined together. I think this is actually pretty neat because if I have to, I think what I see over here represents all of this. Let's suppose it just talks about one kind of measurement. It talks about, let's suppose, just one kind of measurement, not the other. And then it is trying to talk about all of this. Do you think that the page on the right is something like left on our screen?
No, actually, the page on the right looks pretty good. In fact, I would like for Karthik to look at this as well, because see on the right one, the where you have written problem. So above that, you have also mentioned the OKR, right? Objective.
Yeah, the
Right.
objective, right,
So
right.
I was
Yeah.
thinking like right below, like where we are mentioning our solution. So on like our solution page, we can mention the OKR with every single one of the solution as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it will be in the exact same way in which you have written that down, like right above the problem objective is mentioned. This looks plus also I had another question, like in measurement. I think measurement is more like a variable because it depends on what SDG are we talking about, because like for different SDGs the measurements and the metrics that we will use would be different, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So how will the measurement go exactly? I know that the date has to be a constant, right? So the first variable that we will be filling would be the date. And
Yes.
apart from date, we will be the second measurement will that will actually change because that depends on what goal we are talking about.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree with you. First is date. Second is the number. Third is, okay, this number, but what unit are you talking about? We say billion tons of CO2 emitted per year. That's a unit.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so I think these three they mention.
All right, so the date is a constant that we have to do. The metrics the second thing that will change is that what substance we are talking about and the unit and the unit.
Right, right, right. So 1, 2, and 3. And this changes for every objective.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So if let's suppose you want to create a new measurement, you want a new perspective of the problem, then what you could do is that you could, if you want a new perspective of the problem, then you can just add a new problem over here. You can just clone this one. You can duplicate over here, duplicate this, and then define the problem in a whole new dimension. Come up with a new problem description. Come up with different measurements. The other measurement was trying to talk about per capita water. This could talk about something else because the per capita water takes into account the population as well. Yes, but this measurement might want to probably talk about some other measure. I don't know what that other measure could be. I guess give me just a second. I need to just take this call. Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. How do you see the relation between measurements and problems and how that feeds in with objectives? Do objectives have their own measurements or are they tied in with problems and the problems have measurements, a set of measurements?
Yeah, I think like different SDGs will have different measurements. I mean, the date will be the same for everyone because I think this has been taken from the UN Agenda 21, which is also known as UN Agenda 2030. And so that's why most of the dates that we see on the SDGs are of 2030 itself. So the dates will be the same for almost all of the SDGs, but the measurements will be definitely different. I think even for different OKRs, we'll have to write down different measurements.
Right, I agree. I agree. Okay, so over to agree list now. What is this agree list thing? So agree list thing is we tried to borrow agree list from this another civic tech startup, agreelist.org. So if you go to agreelist.org, you could let's suppose carbon tax. They say a carbon tax is levied on carbon content of the fuels it's formed. Okay, so should we actually have carbon tax or no? So Trump says, yeah, I mean, carbon tax is not a good idea. Elon Musk says that yes, carbon tax is an important thing. 89% agree, and then 11% people don't agree with this. So, but okay, this is actually almost decided. I mean, majority actually agree to this. Let's pick something where people are not really decided upon things. So maybe this. Yeah, this looks like almost like a tie because 55% people think that they agree that your AI would, take up everybody's job and everybody would be unemployed. But then these people think that, oh, it won't take jobs. It's going to be fine. So, so you could agree to a claim, you could agree to a fact and you could disagree to a fact. So if, and I question Objective.Earth, you could agree to this problem or you could disagree to this problem. Does that make sense?
Right,
I mean,
right, makes sense.
right. Yeah. And I mean, even if you provided citations, even if you provided scientific evidences, it should be okay for people to say, I disagree to the scientific evidence because here is another counter scientific evidence which says otherwise.
Yes, so can we have like a poll on the UI of Objective.Earth as well? Like a
Yes.
poll in which community
Yeah.
members vote?
Yeah. So just like some form of polling is happening over here, we want some form of poll over here as well. I have a very vague data model of the poll as well. So let me just quickly show you that. If I go to objectives, fix water in India, and let's talk about rally for rivers. So there are lots of solutions suggested. I worked with this organization, Isha Foundation, which was running this campaign called Rally for Rivers. I worked with them. I tried to volunteer with my measure some time back. I think it was a little more than 2 years back. So Rally for Rivers suggests this solution. They say that, oh, just go and take every river and plant 1 kilometer wide forest trees, not agriculture, because that would actually kill rivers like it already has been killing. So plant on the river banks 1 kilometer left and right, plant forest trees, keep it forest. And give it forest protection, which means humans can't go in and all that stuff. You can't build our buildings over there and go and kill animals. You can't do that. Okay, then agree list. Here comes. So lots of people actually disagree to Rally for Rivers, and lots of people agree to Rally for Rivers campaign. And then there are people who are doing work for Rally for Rivers. So if I click over here, disagree because. So disagree. So if you have to disagree or if you have to agree, you have to tell the reason why. Why are you disagreeing? Why are you agreeing? Yeah. So if I click over here, I mean, Barack Obama said that, oh, I agree, but he didn't mention why he's agreeing. Yes. Okay. Anyhow, actually, he's explaining why he's agreeing. Maybe we have just not, put that into a nice file, just like we have put it in a nice file. So they say rally for river. They so who disagrees? First of all, the author is Rajendra Singh. You can find his Wikipedia page. Rajendra Singh, also referred as the Waterman of India, he disagrees that Rally for River is going to do good. He rather says that Rally for Rivers campaign is going to do bad for our already problematic water stress. It would add to the water stress, is what Rajendra Singh says. And he disagrees. And he disagrees because he says Rally for Rivers. He says that because Rally for River does not condemns, maybe because there are two disagreements, maybe it would be confusing. So I would probably. So there is another solution going on. Solution number one is Rally for River. Solution number two is link the rivers. Link the rivers makes sense, right? So they say and this is a very popular solution. So they say because the Rally for River is not condemning the other solution, it is not saying stop doing the other solution. That's why Rajendra Singh says that I would even disagree with the Rally for Rivers, because if Rally for Rivers is not saying anything against the other solution, I would disagree with that. I find it a little, convoluted. I think he should just comment upon what Rajendra Singh should just comment upon Rally for Rivers, and he should be let to disagree with the linkage of rivers, which is a separate solution over here. He can go ahead and create disagreement over there, but he actually is disagreeing with any proposal which is not condemning the solution that he is really against. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense because he should be commenting on this specific rally and not all the other ones. So it doesn't
Right.
really make sense.
Yes. So, but if you go to the source, like over here, you would notice that Rajendra Singh is suggesting that Isha Foundation is doing bad than good. And it's because he says that they might be doing good, but they are not condemning linkage or reverse, which is whole another solution. We are basically, our job is Objective-Earth's jobs is whatever somebody says, whether it is a commoner like me or a celebrity like Rajendra Singh, we maintain an agree list, and we could mention that who is agreeing and who is disagreeing, just like who are agreeing and who are disagreeing. Take note, everybody looks here like a celebrity, right? Everybody has a Wikipedia page, but um, we would want to even mention the people, your friends. What do your friends have to say? What do the people who you follow have to say also? So that would also be an option. Actually, there already is an option in our UI, like over here. I could mention that who I want to follow, right? Uh, so that was a disagreement. And by the way, Rajendra Singh, even though he made the claim, but he probably doesn't has the time because he's a celebrity, he's too busy. So there is a journalism a journalist firm, they are called newsminute.com, and a journalist works in that news company. So they published on their website that Rajendra Singh is disagreeing with RFR, and Gitika would actually have energy and time to come on Objective Earth. Maybe Rajendra Singh would have energy and time to come on Objective Earth only when we get the popularity of Twitter. But Gitika Mantri would actually go and log in into her Objective Earth account. And in addition to posting things on News Minute, she would actually go to your Objective Earth website. She would mention the link of her own news website. We would let you do that, and she would mention that who is disagreeing and why they are disagreeing, and then other people could upvote to this disagreement. So Kansham is an imaginary user who is upvoting this disagreement. So he supports this disagreement made by Rajendra Singh. And Gitika is just claiming it. She's not actually disagreeing. She's just telling that Rajendra Singh is disagreeing. Yeah, but Ghanshyam definitely is also, like Rajendra Singh, Ghanshyam is also disagreeing that RFR is doing bad. So that's your agree list. So you could disagree and you could agree, and then you can disagree and you could agree. All the agreements and disagreements would appear over here.
Do we want agree list for only the solutions, or do we need, since the example here is a Rally for Rivers as a project, which is a solution, do we need agree list for only the solutions, or do we need agree list for the problem and then subsequently the objective?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Let me pull up a mind map to answer that question better. Short answer is we need agree list for solutions. Yes, we need agree list for problems as well, because if you go to websites like Science, or what was that? Right. Yes, you would see people disagreeing with problems as well. There are lots of people who would say that climate change is, people say that, and maybe it is true. I'm not judging people who feel that vaccines are a gimmick, but there are people who would say that vaccines are a gimmick, coronavirus is not there. And maybe that is true. I'm not trying to judge that. But then there are people who would say that even climate change is a myth. No climate is changing. And even if it is changing, it's not going to be bad. And everybody can adapt. So everybody has some argument to climate change. So when you say that we would be importing water in 2050 in India, we should let people disagree to that, and we should let people agree to that. Dheeraj. So solutions and problems, they both have an agree list. On top of that, we have an agree list even for doers. So let's suppose Shruti Murugan is a doer of, she did Rally for Rivers solution. She applied Rally for Rivers solution. And you can see that by clicking over here. If I click Shruti Murugan, it takes me to the community page of Shruti Murugan is a community document. We have a problem document, we have a solution document, we have an objective document, we have a cause document, we have a region document, we have a community document. Yeah. We have all these kinds of documents. So we have a document for every community member. Gitika has a community document. Even your Waterman of India, Rajendra Singh, has a community document. So now I'm going to just open Shruti Murugan's document. And if I click over here, notice that I'm taking you to a YouTube page. So I go to YouTube, and here is that video. I fast forward it to 1 minute and 5 seconds. And that's your Shruti working on the Rally for Rivers project. And she making a claim that she worked in river vitalization in Vaghadi region. I don't know how to pronounce that. In Vaghadi region, and she, along with 37 other people, actually influenced 1,500 villagers in Vaghadi region and helped them helped them revitalize the river in Vagadi. So people might actually disagree with Shruti Murugan. So there should actually be a agree list just around that. That not a agree list for Shruti, but an agree list for her claim. Does that make sense? Dheeraj?
Okay.
So I wanted to quickly open an Xmind, and an Xmind is sort of stuck. Give me just a sec. Where the Xmind actually shows that what is it that we want to keep agree list for. I think I'm almost there. Just give me a moment. Um, right. So we might have an objective document or a solution document. And objective and solution, in my opinion, they both should have agree list. So for every document which appears in green, every green document, I think we should have an agree list. We should have tasks. We should have a timeline. We should have a donate, and we should have doers. So not just we would have agree list for solution and for objective, but we should have agree list even for doers. I think maybe I should have put it green. I have not put it green. So yeah, even oh, actually I have written agree list over here as well, right? So doers could have agree list. Tasks, these are just tasks. So an objective, in my opinion, should have tasks, and solution should have a task as well. So for example, let's suppose people want, the community members are trying to say that, oh, that they can create a task that I have got this metric, but I have not got that metric. So maybe there should be a task for that. But it seems that Wikipedians are able to they are able to, delegate tasks to each other, or maybe they don't delegate any task to each other. But they are able to, work without any task management software in MediaWiki. So I don't know whether we should actually have tasks.
Mm-hmm. And what is the point of having angry list for doers? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, okay. Give me just a sec. Let me see if I'm able to pull up that thing. I don't know if this is the right one. Would you want to answer that, Dheeraj? Okay, so here is an answer. A doer or other people who are playing like doers, there would be good doers and there would be bad doers. So as a doer, I might want to do greenwashing. Does that make sense? Karthik?
Okay.
Let me go a
Okay,
little more
okay.
detail. Let me go a little more detail. I might be a doer who claims. All right. Okay. Here I am. So the solution is called Rally for Rivers. Whether the government, and there is an agree list going for the solution. I just wrote it objective. It actually should be solution. All right. Rather than objective. So there is an agree list for solution. All right. And then governments are there are doers. Government of Maharashtra has made a claim, and here is a citation of it. if I click over here, it would open my page where it shows that how government of Maharashtra has started to implement this solution. All right. But then Sukhbir Singh, in his individual capacity, is also implementing it. And that's a little about page of Sukhbir Singh. And Sukhbir says that, yeah, he has 5 acres of land adjoining Ganges. And that's what your Rally for Rivers policy says, that if it's a government land, please put forests. If it's a privately owned land by Sukhbir, please plant trees, like trees of fruits. Please don't plant any uh, plant, or don't do like agriculture, do fruit agriculture, do basically agroforestry. So Sukhbir Singh says, yeah, I'm actually going and doing it. And he just writes something very basic about himself as well, that, he puts up with his family. But there are people who would agree that whatever Sukhbir said, that, oh, 5 acres land, I have put in, I have basically made the investment of putting in agroforestry in my 5 acres land. So there would be people, remember, Objective Earth wants to pay people. It wants to pay you if you're doing good. So Sukhbir Singh would actually be, I mean, we want to. Whether in our early releases we would be able to do it, that's a whole another question. But we want to compensate the people who are doing good. Karthik. Yes. So when Sukhbir Singh makes this claim that, right, yeah, I'm doing stuff, then there would be community members like Sukhbir Singh. There would be people who would disagreed by nobody. Disagree because I visited firsthand and I verified that plantation was not done. So he claims, oh, I have a plantation. There was this guy who said, oh, there is no plantation. But then there is somebody who actually visited it firsthand, and he said that I verified that the plantation is happening. And maybe this is another community member. Like Sukhbir Singh, he's another community member in Objective Earth. And he tends to, his name is, right? Yeah. So, all right. We're good. So that's your agree list. So here, what I'm here trying to suggest strongly, Pratyush, Karthik, is that it is okay if we go breadth first and don't do depth first. We have a lot of OKRs right now going on. I would strongly suggest let's just focus upon one OKR for now, maybe two. Yeah. If you want to focus upon third OKR, let's discuss it first. Let's just do these two OKRs or one OKR really well. Let's see how we can implement all the three guidelines over there. This, and this. Write in plain language. I think this should be pretty easy to follow, but I mean, difficult to practice, but easy to follow. Then, not difficult actually. With practice, you would be able to practice it. Then linked data is basically just this, that, I didn't wrote Shruti Murugan. I didn't type Shruti Murugan. I actually linked her inside solutions by using @ sign. I didn't actually wrote like this, Shruti Murugan and others influenced 1500 people. No, I didn't do that. I did @ Shruti. Let's suppose there was no page for Shruti. Right, Shruti Murugan. Let's suppose while there is, but let's suppose there was not. So I would actually create a page. I would create a page, search a page to add to. I would create that in community. That is basically us doing linked data.
Okay.
Yeah. So take some time reading this, that, we need to link to causes. We need to link to cause document, region document. We need to link to, and sometimes to link, use headline. So either use @ or use headlines. This is a headline. Turn it into a, this one. Yeah, this is a headline. Doers is a headline 1, headline 2, headline 3. So to do linked data, either do @ or do headline. We would have machines to read headlines and read this @ linking, and then we would export all the data into the Objective-Earth CMS that we would build. Does that make sense, guys? This linked data thing. Happy to have a separate call just about this because this could be a long call now.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I just wanted to address something like if we are only doing, if you're only finding solutions for like one OKR, then that we may run into a problem because every single solution is mapped to like at least 2 or 3 OKRs. Right. So the solutions that I'm finding on the internet, the organizations, so they are like already working and they're already fulfilling multiple OKRs. So what I was thinking was that maybe link
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
solution page that, yeah.
yeah, you are able to do that pretty nice because let's suppose you have a solution. Let's suppose Rally for Rivers addresses 2 problems. So you could do @Rally for Rivers in 2 problems. You're able to do that pretty nice over here.
Yeah, correct. So we can just backlink the solution to different OKRs.
Right. For example, if I go to objectives and I go to fixed quarter in India, take note, I consciously I didn't type Rally for Rivers. I did @Rally for Rivers in
Right,
this
got it.
objective, right? There could be one more objective and I would do @ over there as well. Yes. And then I could go to the solution page and I would just click this link over here and I would know which other pages are linking me.
Right. Yeah, so that makes sense because then it will be like a really good web of information. Like everything is
Yes.
Yeah.
linked to each other. Like the OKRs are linked to the solution linked to some other OKR. It will
Right.
be like a good web of information.
Right. So a technical term for this web, they call it linked data. It's an interesting article. I've worked in the linked data space for a couple of years now, and linked data is loved by
Right.
people in data science and people in artificial intelligence, and people in governance would love it. We are building civic tech. We need it. We need it if we have to export our data to our CMS. I mean, let's suppose we actually come up with really nice OKRs just in Notion or maybe in MediaWiki, and tomorrow after a month we want to export it to our CMS. Linked data would be our friend. It would save us in exporting. It would save us a lot of time. Otherwise, we would have to painstakingly do everything once again.
Right. So if we were to copy paste the data that we have entered on Notion or on or on any other software. So over there, if we just copy paste that, then will that paste with the link or will it be like or will it be pasted as plain text?
It would be pasted as plain text. When you copy and paste, then you would have to use things like this source, basically. So for example, here, let's suppose I actually copied it from somewhere, some of the things I typed. Then I would actually, I would, maybe it is safe to say that I am never copying anything. I am paraphrasing it. That's what Wikipedians do. This sentence, it is the citation of this is number 1. Yeah. This number 1 is resulting in this. And this is a paraphrase of this huge article. Yeah. So here as well, just like Wikipedians, I am paraphrasing myself. Yeah. And then I am mentioning what did I actually paraphrased, that I am linking over here. And I'm beginning to feel that this is, in my opinion, inefficient. Wikipedia's citation is more efficient. They have 1, 2 after every sentence. They have 1 other sentence. They have 2. I think they know exactly how it's to be done. Notion, in my opinion, I mean, unless they have a footnote thing. Do they have a footnote or a superscript or subscript? Footnote. I don't know. I don't think they have it.
No, I
So
think that if you would like to add citation, you'll have to like select some amount of text and then you can just paste the link over there. Yeah, now you have that option of linking.
That, in my opinion, is
No
different.
footnotes. No footnotes.
Yeah, that's not footnotes. The links are, these are links, and these are footnotes.
So
Right.
you will find at the end of the wiki that there is a list of references.
Yes. So
And
if I
the
click over here,
footnotes, yeah.
if I click over here, these are all the references, and this, in my opinion, is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a strong recommendation for the product design team as well, that maybe we should not shy away from doing a lot of lightning demos and maybe even forking the code base of Media Wiki. Dheeraj or Vashi.
Cool, cool, cool. We shall definitely factor in references. We are factoring in linking and mentions for sure. Adding in references will just add legitimacy, I feel. That's something we
Right.
need to incorporate into the design for sure.
Right. The problem with citations right now is that what just happened. I mean, this should have citation 1, this should have citation 2, and this should have citation 3. Or maybe all should have just citation number 1. I do not have right now a control to tell that which sentence should have what citation. Wikipedia has that, right? So Notion is not letting me do it. That is a problem in Notion. So this linked data thing, maybe these guys are just getting started. Your Notion, because they have this @ feature to establish a linked data. Wikipedia is pioneer in linked data. I mean, we learn linked data from Wikipedia. We these NLP enthusiasts, like I'm an NLP enthusiast. So we borrow linked data, how Wikipedia and Wikipedians do linked data. So I think they have a lot of features. We should actually even strongly consider actually moving everything that we are doing to linked data. So maybe that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The 3 guidelines. And yeah, so maybe we can take a pause and learn from you guys on what do you think? What do you
So
think the
about
next
the
plan could be?
references, what we can do, I think, is that we can just create like a separate page on Notion itself. Like that is the closest that we can come to, because we don't have the same software that they are using, like in Wikipedia to with like
Yeah, I
especially.
mean, you could just self-host media wiki hosting. Just go and get media wiki hosting from anybody. As simple. They are giving it maybe. A2 hosting is giving. So let's go and buy it from them. And you would have your own Wikipedia hosting going on. And anybody in our engineering team can also set it up for you. They are pretty cheap. So we can start with them. Actually, they are not. And they're not expensive either. So what I'm here trying to hear say is that we can just get started. You would have a blank, empty Wikipedia, and you can get started with that. Understanding how to use the MediaWiki software takes little effort. So that's another learning curve that we may have to quickly go through, but it would be quite fun. I mean, this is probably the most MediaWiki which has helped people build Wikipedia is probably the prestigious and most successful community project on planet Earth. So I think I'm sure that we can get to learn a lot from them. If we are also trying to put together a community, I think learning from them could be a really great idea. They are offering a free. I don't know why we should do a free. Okay. So maybe what we can do, guys, is that take your time to process this meeting and type us down the next steps which you aim to complete. So today is Friday. How do you plan your entire week coming week is a question. Yeah.
Okay, so I
I
was
think
thinking that within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we should be able to cover at least 5 solutions in each of the SDGs. and we should also be able to map those solutions with the different OKRs, like we talked about. The citations, as far as the citations go, like on Notion, the closest that we can come to is creating a new page called references, in which all of those links will be there, like number 1, 2, 3, and how many
Mhm.
ever links that we use.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
so far, I think that that's what we can do.
Okay. Okay. That sounds like a plan. Also, you mentioned OKR plus solution. What here we are strongly reiterating is we do not want OKR plus solution. We want OKR. I mean, if problem, text, and measuring is OKR, then yes, that's what we need. OKR. We need solution. Yes, rightly when what you mentioned, we need solution. Pratyush, we need contributors. We don't want to do anything, without contributors. There might be some people who might be doing, and there are a few more things which are not written over here. Plus, agree list. I'm not saying that let's always have. What I'm here trying to say is we all must practice uh, curating agree list. We all must practice curating contributors. I practiced it in the data model over here. I suggest you should also practice it. And after practicing it, see if you can actually start to contribute that for every entry you make so that every entry is a complete entry. Pratyush, Karthik.
Right, understood. So I think that maybe we should
Right.
just
Sure.
create new pages which would talk about uh, the other stuff. Like I'll have to go through the data model once again,
Right.
because there are like a couple of
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we need to add like at least 2 to 3 pages in every single one of the goals.
Right.
We'll add that, and we will backlink the OKRs in the solution itself so that people will know what problem we're talking about. And OKRs, right. OKRs that you talked about, we'll have to change. I'm gonna have to rewrite all of the OKRs. I
Right.
think that will be the best thing to do, because right now we have simply copy pasted from the
Yeah.
UN website, which
Yeah.
sounds very.
Yeah. Yeah. Important. When you mentioned rewrite all OKRs across the horizon, end of the week or maybe next week, we would love to do that. But the first milestone is just doing one objective really well. We don't want you to
Hmm.
right now overwhelm yourselves with fixing all the OKRs. You have huge inventory of OKRs, and it is useful and it is not useful. It is both. It is useful because it is OKR, right? We are a social OKR software and they are OKR. It is useful, but it is not useful because it is just depth first. It's not breadth first.
Right.
And even if it has solutions, it still would remain incomplete. Even if it has agree list and sources and even community, even then I would even argue that even then it would remain incomplete because when you are providing all the necessary accompanying parts, I'm imagining that you would give us ideas on what should be there. It is okay if, we maybe our product data model is actually complete. There is no other thing to add. Maybe there is no really other thing that you can actually add. But I strongly think that there are so many things that can be added.
Yeah, I
So
think like.
even when you finishing the first OKR, when you provide solution and even you provide community and angry list and even a source, I would even make a claim that your objective is incomplete because you didn't give us any advice of what should go additional into the data model. Pratyush.
Right. So I was thinking like over here we can add one new page called facts and figures, in which
Mhm.
all of the statistics that we can find, which would be like in relation to that OKR and that solution, that we can add in that facts and figures.
Okay. Uh, Interestingly, um, yes, it would be interesting to watch that how you actually present facts and figures in the user interface. Quite honestly, I do not really know what would happen when a user clicks this. Maybe those facts and figures can go over there. Also, you mentioned facts and figures. We are not saying facts and figures. We are saying, see who and what is causing this. That's our
Yes,
facts and
exactly,
figures.
exactly. Yeah.
And we have another section of facts and figures. We say, see the trend. I mean, did we improved or did we or have we worsened?
Right. So you're talking about like what impact that solution had. Is that what you're talking about?
How is the problem going on?
Okay,
Whether
okay.
you
So regarding the problem,
Current.
when we are applying the solutions, facts and figures can probably go over here. Maybe solution is maybe a task list, in my opinion. I mean, solution can make a claim, oh, we improved this, that. Whatever you claim, if the claim actually finally appears over here, we would believe you, right? Solution is mainly tasks, but the problem is actually measuring things, measuring, um, measuring from the source, or measuring from the. I mean, this would be the source of truth, is what I want to say. I mean, you
I
can plant billion
understand.
trees and you might still have, rather than 51, you might still be left with 49 billion tons. Maybe the trees are not actually a solution. There are lots of people who are actually arguing that, and maybe they are true. They are right. Yeah. So this could have, I don't know whether it should talk about stats. Maybe it should. But this should definitely talk about stats, is what I wanted to say.
Right, so I believe like in the solutions, we should like first mention the most impactful solution, which impacts the most, and then
Yes.
we can like write down the ones which are less impacting.
Yes.
Hmm.
And give Karthik and Pratyush can give their upvotes on what they think is impactful. So you both can upvote on things, and you can ask
Yeah.
others like Dheeraj and
Hmm.
Urvashi and everybody who you run into to vote, and downvote for the solutions.
Yeah, right. And plus, in fact, I've like on that same website where you can browse through the goals. Over there, you have the option to choose the solutions which are already completed. And when you click on that, then they will show you what impact it has had. So if you read through all of those solutions, which are like I think in the like there are around 30 to 40 solutions in every goal, which have been completed. So if you just read all those 30 to 40 solutions, then we can like make then at that time we get an idea like which solution is the most impactful, which
I
one.
agree. So I agree with you. Yeah, this could be beautiful. This could be beautiful. I agree. So and that resource, Pratyush, I agree. It could help us in the data model a lot. It could help us know that what should go into solutions. I have right now not any idea what should go, what are the things that we should show when solution appears. So yeah, maybe we can learn from them. They have tried to do it, the UN website.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Um, uh, um, Another, concern I wanted to raise, which is not written over here, is that I've not created an issue for it. That we are an OKR software. We are a mix of um, we are a mix of we are a OKR. We are a crowdfunding. Yeah. We are um, what else? We are is it safe to say that we are a governance platform? I don't know. So also there are lots of different things that paint.
Yeah, if we get the crowdfunding part going and it's a success, it has traction, then we could be a governance
Okay,
platform.
right. Yeah. Also, I have not really seen really good governance products in front of me. I've seen really good OKR softwares. I've seen good crowdfunding, but I have not seen really great governance. So I am not able to paint picture when I say, oh, we would be a governance tool. I don't know what actually governance tool actually means, because I don't like, I don't, I have not come across a good governance tool, but I agree with you. We could be a really good governance. What else? We are a social network, or maybe rather than saying that we are a social network,
Community.
right? So maybe we can just say social OKR. So I will remove social network from here. Yeah. So and maybe we are a few more things. I don't know what are other things that we are. Maybe we are a fact checking solution. I mean, a lot of people would just come over here and fact check things. Yeah, just like people. I mean, before people would come to Wikipedia and not believe Wikipedia because the facts would be tainted. Now a whole lot of people would come to Wikipedia and try to use it mainly for fact checking that what is actually truth, because your local media could be saying whole twisted truths. So give me just a sec. Um, I
Can Objective-Earth also be like a networking platform where different organizations can come and network?
Yes. So maybe I can write social network once again. Should I? Okay, I will write it. Just like Twitter is.
Yeah, but not like exactly social network. It's more, it would be more like B2B, like different organizations
Uh,
who are trying to
uh,
network with each other.
right. Well, here's an important thing that we are trying to explore very strongly. We are trying to have commoners play their role and large institutions as well. There is no institution written over here, and my bad. We should be writing institution names as well. Like we should be writing Government of Maharashtra because we just saw that how Government of Maharashtra is implementing something that Isha Foundation, another organization, is trying to do. But we want celebrities. These three are celebrities, and this guy is a commoner. So we want commoners and celebrities and institutions, private and public and state institutions, all coming in and collaborating over here is what we are trying to explore, rather than being a B2B place, Pratyush. So, take note, Tushar, a commoner, this guy got real stuff done and he got real reward for it. Yeah.
Right. Got it.
Thanks to the initiatives, thanks to the contributions coming in from other contributors. Commoners like Tushar and Johan, who is a celebrity in climate science, and Lily Singh. And if you have been following this World Summit YouTube channel, your World Economic Forum YouTube channel, you would notice that BBK Wines is pretty heavy with your World Economic Forum. BBK Wines is almost like an ambassador to your. Uh, so he's an influencer, your BBQ Wines over here. Yeah. So anybody who works towards the objectives, we would want them to at least have a stake, if not a cash, but at least stake in the rewards. At least say in the rewards. Whether the rewards happen today or no, that's a whole different thing. But we want them to have a chance to earn, including commoners. Pratish. Yeah. Okay. So one important thing that I wanted to express is that while we are a social OKR software and we are continuously trying to, in our data model, if you would notice the data model over, if you notice the data model here, you would notice everything. I mean, when you are doing the data model, we are having mentions of things like OKR, key results or indicators, right? We I'm eager to find out whether we should continue to use that terminology. I mean, while we are strongly drawing influence from OKR, but should we also use the complicated or mouthful terms OKR in our nomenclature, in our communication, and in our user interface? Because what you say would turn into a user interface soon. Pratyush. Yes.
Yeah, right. I
So
was thinking like instead of OKR, we can just say objective. Objective.
yes,
That would
yes,
be much simpler.
yes. Right. Awesome, perfect. And whatever. So here is one thing that we strongly want you from you guys. Right now we have 6 kinds of documents in our data model. I'm sure that you would be able to come up with a whole new different kind of a document over here. Maybe that is tasks. Maybe that is grants or fundings. I don't know what that is, but it would be very interesting that what do you find out? Yeah. And then have, you know, child documents under tasks, basically that. And which means that right now we do not have any in our nomenclature. So our nomenclature would be regulated by this document over here, or if we actually migrate this into MediaWiki, which I'm strongly considering, by the way, uh, then we Yeah, so we do not, in an objective, like in fixed water in India objective, we are, this, in my opinion, is the key result. This is in the OKR, KR is for key result. So this is our key result. This is where we want to be. And this is what the key result right now looks like. Yes. So, but we have given a whole different name to it. Rather than calling it key and result, we are trying to do a product design. And we thought that rather than saying key result in this drop down, we rather thought that we would rather call it measurement, measured by. Yeah. So what we are here trying to suggest is OKR, we are strongly drawing inspiration from. We want to draw inspiration from them. Yes. But um, should we actually use the same terms? I strongly recommend that we should actually not, we should draw their principles, but we should steer away from anything which is not, we should steer away from anything which is not, I mean, which is not plain language. And always imagine your audience as a commoner. If tomorrow your neighbor continues to choose to keep his continues to choose to not have his tree cut. I mean, you could get your tree cut and sell it for something. That's perfectly fine. We want you to make profit. But if you continue to keep it there standing on the ground, maybe we want them to have some reward of it. Again, not maybe immediately, but gradually. Yes. By the way, on large scale, this already is happening. Maybe it's not happening to your neighbor, but it's already happening. You want to do green because maybe you are a large institution emitting carbon, and you want to print on your labels that we are carbon neutral. So you give a contract to these green companies, and they would plant these many trees for you, and they would maintain it for, like, suppose 10 years. Yeah. So if this guy who is planting 10,000 trees, he's charging the company, why can't your neighbor actually earn that money as well? Is a thing that we are trying to explore. Maybe that is not possible, but at least we want to give a strong attempt to it. So we should embrace plain language because we are trying to talk to large institutions, small institutions, but we also want to talk to individuals, hence plain language. And plain language is a thing which is like very necessary. This is a very important read, guys. I would strongly recommend going through this entire article. So plain language, all these government agencies are popular not being able to follow plain language. Guys, give me just a sec. Right. Back. So yeah. So OKR, in my opinion, that was not really plain. I think that was sort of like not very useful. If it is useful, we would actually put that into the user interface, and we would put that into our data model. Right now, it's away from our data model. It is fine to talk about OKR, but it is important not to write OKR anywhere in our data model, and anywhere in Notion or anywhere in MediaWiki. Pratyush, Karthik.
Yeah. Because OKR sounds a little, objective is more easier to talk about, as you said.
Objectives is fine. Yeah, and also like about the data model, I would like to suggest like a change to be made over there. We should maybe remove causes and regions from there because causes
Okay.
and regions are already mentioned in the solution. So I don't
In
think that
the
it should be a part of the data model itself.
in solution, no. Here's the thing. Linked data again. Yeah. So because I mean, even in your United Nations portal, Pratyush, you were filtering by SDG number. You were filtering by that, right?
Right.
They even had one more filtering option. They were letting you filter by region as well, Pratyush.
Okay. Well,
Right. So, but they are letting you probably filter only the solutions. Right.
yeah,
They're not
I
letting
can
you
only
filter problems by region.
no, they are actually see the goals themselves are a problem, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Right. I
Over
mean,
here, there is a
it's
an option of regions, right?
yeah, goals themselves are problems is very convoluted, in my opinion. I mean, goals are goals, problems are problems. I mean, you could have a goal and not meet that goal,
Right,
and the problem would stand,
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
right? So, problem should be measurable, and goal should achieve to solve the problem. So, we are trying to keep them separate. Goals are like objectives. Fix water on Earth. That's a goal, and then we have measurements under that objective, right? And why are we working on that objective? Why are we fixing water on Earth? Because we have problem. We have problem in the Earth region, and the cause is water.
Right, understood.
Yeah. So
So that means
linked
in the
it.
data model, we need to keep regions as well because there might be
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who would like to simply read from regions. Like if
Right.
there is
Right.
someone who's from Pakistan and he wants to know like what are the problems in Pakistan itself, then he would simply
Yes.
go to a region and search for his own country.
Absolutely. And he could just say, talk about trafficking in Pakistan, or talk about trafficking in India. So you could go and do that. Talk about trafficking in Haryana, Chandigarh, or your favorite city.
Right, right. Yeah, and also like about rewriting all the OKRs, that won't be wise. Like as soon as we are linking and like as soon as we are like working on one OKR, we then I would suggest like the better solution would be that if we rewrite the OKRs on which we are working on instead
Yes,
of
absolutely.
rewriting all the OKRs at
100%
once.
agree. 100% agree with you. I'm with you there. And here is another thing. Writing the data with the linked data takes practice. In my experience, I have made a lot of mistakes, and later I learned to, write things in linked data way. It takes practice. It took Wikipedians a lot of practice to write linked data. Yeah, I would also recommend the content curation team over here that whatever facts that you find, please submit those facts into Wikipedia as well. Go and create an account on Wikipedia and add citations and add more content over there. Why? Because then we would have Wikipedians among us, you guys, and we would have better product design coming in.
Right, and plus like, we can learn so much from like entering data into Wikipedia. Like
Right,
there
right.
might be some methods that they are using which we are not
Yes.
using as of right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you are putting any content into Objective Earth, nobody is challenging you, because I am trying to challenge you right now in this call, but there are a lot better people that we need to hear from. You need to get feedback from. So those Wikipedians would be a real test, I would say. So a strong recommendation is, if there is something, in fact, let's actually make this a thing. If you put something in Notion, or you put in your own installation of MediaWiki, show us also where in Wikipedia you have put it,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So you are
Fine.
making parallel contributions, Wikipedia
Hmm.
plus Objective Earth. And we would hope that Wikipedians teach us a thing or two,
Right, right.
right? On how to do fact checking, how to do linked data, and this and that, and right, style manual, writing styles, all that stuff.
Right, understood.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. I think, guys, that's I think largely something that I wanted to express. And this was a one long call, maybe because I mean we all wanted to converge upon. There was so many things to talk about. I mean, I think a little more than week of contribution doing content curation, and then all these feedbacks. I think our daily stand-ups, we hope, could take lesser. So it would be wonderful if, by Sunday or Saturday tomorrow, just put together a small note that what are you trying to aim by the end of the next week, and how you are seeing yourself, what you think on day one you would be doing, what you think on day two you would be doing. Basically, all the 5 days, what are the things that you would be doing? You can, Karthik can answer it for himself, Pratyush can answer it for himself, or you both can just write a joint list. I don't know whether you want to answer for yourself or joint. Joint is better. So yeah, let's do that, and we really hope that this daily stand up, it becomes super short, like like a stand-up. I mean, it was supposed to be a stand-up, so it is like 15 minute or 30 minute. But this was not really a stand-up. This was an open forum. So yeah, let's connect on that sometime.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So some FaceTime and then we say bye.
Actually, there's no electricity at my place.
Okay.
So
Not a problem.
I'm
All right. Yeah, we can have from Dheeraj. See, I mean,
Bye
even
bye.
okay.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah, you can have FaceTime even you have bad. हाँ जी, बस आप ले सकते हैं. I can
Bye-bye.
see Pratyush. Hey, Pratyush.
Uh,
Hello. All right, Karthik, we would love to see you sometime later when the renovation is done. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Okay, dokie. Guys, gentlemen, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
uh,
Bye,
Thank
Arushi,
you.
all
Karthik,
right.
Bye.
Bye,
Dheeraj,
guys.
Pratyush. Bye.
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 Thank you.